All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, Dan.
Yes, and good morning to you all. How are you? Good morning, guys.
Woo! Parang
We
hindi kayo
won't-
naka-breakfast ha? Naka-breakfast ba kayo?
We won't be giving away
Alright.
prizes if you won't say good morning. Good morning!
Hi! Hello!
Ganito
Alright.
siguro, Joey. Which
Oo.
side siguro will give prizes? No. So let's start here, right?
Sige, sige nga.
Good morning!
Mahina, Dan, mahina. Tingnan natin dito.
Sige, sige.
Okay, good morning!
How
Sino
about
ba-
the middle part? Good morning!
Alright.
Paano naman yung mga nasa taas?
Sige nga. Okay, good morning, guys! Pwede. Later, may prizes kayo.
All right, we would like to welcome you all to the DevCon Summit 2013.
Mobile Dev and Beyond.
The biggest mobile developers conference in the Philippines.
So Dan, what do we expect from our event today?
No, you tell me, Joey, what do we expect for today aside from waking up early morning?
Dan, this is a whole day event that gathers IT professionals all over the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yes, and aside from that, these events showcase the latest trends and opportunities in the IT industries.
Yes, and on top of that, we have wonderful speakers right now who will be sharing their ideas and knowledge about the industry. So we'll take, let's get advantage of this wonderful event. And on top of that, Joey, since it's Christmas anyway, we have a lot of prizes to give. And what is the first prize that we'll be giving today?
Secret mamaya, Dan. Sasabihin
Right,
natin.
secret.
Pero ito sasabihin kong isang...
Clue.
Yes. Ito, Dan, di ba kasi kanina may mga maagang dumating dito. So,
Sino yung maaga dito? Raise
Sino
your
yung mga
hand.
maagang dumating? Alright. So, dahil maaga silang dumating, later on,
Later, meron silang bragging
prize.
rights.
Diba?
May bragging rights sila.
Oo, because they made an effort to be early this event. So, syempre, nabibigyan natin sila ng prize.
Alright, how does that sound, guys? Sino kaya yung first who came here?
Sino kaya? Wala?
Wala ba dito?
Malalaman natin yan mamaya.
Sige,
sa
alright.
takdang panahon.
But we would like to thank our sponsors who are who made this event possible.
Yes, so to start off, for our sponsors, we have GitHub,
Globe,
Smart.
Orange and Bronze,
For our gold sponsors, we have Deltec.
Firefox,
For our silver sponsors, we have Microsoft,
Fast Track IT Company,
Accenture.
Power Mac Center,
And for our tech and media partner, we have Stock Overflow,
Speed Magazine,
Philippine Web Designers Organization,
Drupal Pilipinas,
When in Manila,
TechTalks.ph,
WebGig,
BlackBerry,
and also we have Active Show.
and GMA News Online.
Alright, so without them, this event wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much, guys. Palakpakan naman natin sila. Alright,
Very
that's
much
the spirit.
sponsors.
So they're sitting right in our front row. So ito yung mga sponsors natin, Dan. So thank you so much, guys.
Yep, later on you also will have the chance to visit their booths right outside. Right, so Joey, let's start the ball rolling. And to formally open this event, we would like to call on Mr. Brian Bibat, the DevCon Vice President for Technology, for his welcome remarks.
A round of applause, please.
Gonna be the time of your life. We're gonna do it tonight.
Hi, morning. Thank you all for coming. So students, professionals, sponsors, thank you all for coming to this wonderful holiday Saturday morning. Okay, let's start. Start with welcome remarks. Start by talking about myself. Well, that's not a good idea because for one, I'm just here to welcome you guys here. And another thing is, there are much more important things to talk about rather than boost my ego. For example, the theme of this event. It's important for us to start this event by thinking about the theme, which is mobile technologies and mobile app development. So what about mobile? So there are still some people who don't really think mobile is that great. They tend to underestimate what mobile is. But the thing is, mobile is a lot bigger than people expect it to be. So to put it in perspective, say 10 years ago or 11 years ago, I got my first phone, my first mobile phone that I can call my own. It's not my mom's phone that I just borrowed. This was a phone bought for me. So I use this in college for coordinating meetings and other stuff. So it's basically just calling and texting and sometimes playing Snake. Now fast forward to today, that's 11 years later, I have a phone. It's still a phone, still a mobile phone, still does the same things. There's some games here, I can call, I can text. But there's a big difference because in this phone is actually 1,000 times more powerful, 1,000 times, it has 1,000 times more storage than the PC that I used to learn programming. Because I'm a programmer, and back then I used an old 386 PC, and this on my pocket is 1,000 times more powerful than that. And when you think about it, you don't really think about it much because it's there, it's normal. But when you think about it, the cliche seems to be appropriate. The cliche that the future is now. When you consider how powerful, how advanced the technologies we have in our fingertips. Say we can access a lot of data, practically an infinite amount of data, as opposed to say just 20 years ago that you're going to have to consult an encyclopedia to find information or even go to the library to find information. So yeah, mobile is something not to be underestimated. You might have heard some of the statistics, like say there are more mobile phones in the world than there are people in the world, or that there's mobile coverage in places that don't even have basic educational systems, and so on and so forth. But on the other hand, you have this notion that some people overestimate the concept of mobile. Some consider that some people say that it's going to be the post-PC era, or whatever that means. But because when you think about the post-PC era, it means that there's not going to be any PCs anymore. So what you use right now for development, your laptops, is going to be replaced by mobile phones or tablets or whatever. So there are signs that it might go that way. There are signs that it might not go that way. But the point here is, I raised that concept of having a post-PC era, moving from desktop to laptops to mobile phones and tablets, because of the implications of that concept. The implication of that is back in the day, that's just a couple of years ago, when you buy a PC, that's going to last say 5-10 years. Maybe add a couple of upgrades, it's still going to be okay. Same thing with software. If you don't pirate your software, you can still buy legal software and it's going to last for years. As opposed to mobile, there's this pressure to buy the latest cell phones, or if there's this popular app, you're going to have to get that app. So there's this movement from a more stable spending habits to a more consumerist approach. Now, I'm not against being a guy that looks for the next big cell phone or whatever. The point is, I raise that point because of who we are. Because we are developers. Some of you here are professional developers. Some of you here are looking forward to be developers. Others are not developers or not planning to be developers, but are working in conjunction with people who develop software. So that concept of increasing consumerism, increasing pressure to buy more, spend more, that shouldn't be our primary concern, because as developers, we are not really consumers, we are primarily producers. So given that the trend is buy more, there's going to be more people buying cell phones, more people buying tablets, more people buying apps. As developers, we're not just supposed to be with the herd. We should, as developers, tap into it. We should take advantage of it. We should build the next great app. We should possibly change the world by our apps, as we've seen in the latest hackathons and all that. But unfortunately, the problem here is, let's be frank, not a lot of graduates, not a lot of young developers have that much skill, have that much exposure to technologies such that they can build quality software. quality software that they can sell, that they can actually say that they produced and earn money from, or even, as I said, change the world. So that's the main point of why we are doing this. So this is a developer conference. This is an event where you guys here will be exposed to new technologies, new concepts, and we've got a great lineup today of speakers who are going to talk about a wide array of technologies related to mobile. It may be a high-level talk, it may be a low-level talk, you're going to see some code. It might even be talks that aren't really related to mobile, but it would affect how you build mobile software. So that's how we answer the problem that even though there's a lot of graduates, IT graduates in the Philippines, there's not really that much who can really build quality software. So instead of blaming people, blaming the education system or whatever, instead of doing that, we, as in DevCon, instead just do whatever we can. So here we are, and here you are. And hopefully, by the end of this day, you probably won't become a rock star developer just by sitting there and listening to the speakers, but at least you will take your first steps, or even if you're already a developer, you will open your mind to new concepts, new technologies that you might have not even heard before. So I hope that that's what I hope you will take out from this event. So before I'm going to wrap up, I should shamelessly plug DevCon because it's the welcoming remark. So for DevCon, who are we? What is Developers Connect Philippines? So DevCon is a non-profit organization. We are all volunteers here, and our goal is to improve the quality of Filipino IT talent. So how we do that? How do we do that? We, as you can see, we hold events like this. We visit schools and hold events like this, and some other events also. So Woo! I know many of you here come from schools that we've already visited. For those of you who are interested in us visiting your schools and holding events like these, just go to our website, that's devcon.ph, and there's the steps there on how to contact us. So if you're also interested in helping us, as you can see, we're all volunteers here, we're professionals, we had work yesterday, and we had to wake up early today, so you might recognize the registration booth was really, we had a lot of problems there. And if you want to help us, help us in our endeavor in building up the Filipino IT talent, you can also volunteer. Just, again, there's in our website how to volunteer, how to contact us. And if you're just there, you just want to connect with us, there's also on our website our Facebook page, and also our Facebook group and our Twitter account. So I guess that's all I can plug. Again, welcome to DevCon Summit 2013, Mobile Dev and Beyond, and hope you learn a lot from this event. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Brian, the active vice president of DevCon PH. All right, so earlier I've mentioned that we will going to give prizes for those who are early a while ago. So Dan, are you in the audience right now? I couldn't find you.
Yup, you should look for me. The one who can see me will receive a prize.
Dan, I couldn't find you. Who can look for Dan, my co-host earlier? So anyway, Dan, are you ready to give the prize for the very first person who came here early?
Yup, we're ready to meet this person and we'll get to know this person. So can you tell us who won this prize?
Okay, so the lucky person is no other than Mr. So lalaki, Mr. RJ Busalia.
RJ, where are you, RJ?
RJ Busalia, where
there
are
he
you?
is. So go near him. One moment.
Okay, go and find him. Okay, guys, don't forget pala ha to use hashtags Mobile Dev and Beyond so you could win prizes later on. So
Nasaan si RJ?
RJ, where are you, RJ?
Here's RJ. Can you come and join me, RJ?
So here's RJ.
So anong talent ang gagawin mo ngayon, RJ? Kala mo
Ambush.
joke yun, ha?
Alright.
Kakanta ba si RJ?
Yes!
So RJ, where are you from?
From Laguna.
Wow, from Laguna, Joey. So
Oh,
what
Laguna.
time
Ang
did you wake
layo!
up this morning?
I see.
Anong oras ka gumising?
4 a.m.
4 a.m. So,
Oh.
why are you joining this event? Are you a student? Are you an IT professional?
IT professionals.
IT professional as a
Software engineer.
software
Wow.
engineer. All right, so for RJ, we have a mug. It's a special mug. Kasi
Why?
once you pour liquid on it, unlimited na siya. Yes.
Ganon.
So here you go, RJ, and congratulations. Thank you for coming.
Alright. Palakpakan naman natin si RJ. Thank you so much, RJ. Alright. Dan, thank you so much, Dan. And now we're going to proceed with our next program. To start off, to give us a short word, may we call on the person in front, from Smart DevNet, Mr. James Ison. A round of applause, please.
Thank you, Joey. This is a very frightening stage. There's no podium to hide behind. Usually when we give these talks, we have a podium and we can look at our laptop. Now my laptop's over there. I'm supposed to control it with this pointer. Let's see how this works. No, I think I'm supposed to say next slide. Okay, so I'm supposed to give a lightning talk. This is like a 10, 12-minute really fast talk, and I'm representing Smart Developer Network. Next slide, please. So just in case you're wondering who I am, this is who I am. So I'm a senior manager at Smart, and I run a group called Partner Management, and one of the partner programs we run is a developer program for Smart. Quick info about myself, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm always on social media, so Twitter, Facebook, and that's my email address over there if you want to get in touch with me for any reason. Next slide, please. Okay, so enough about me. What exactly is Smart DevNet? The Smart Developer Network, also known as Smart DevNet, is our developer relations program. We created this because we wanted to build a developer community for Smart, just like DevCon, and establish Smart as a part of the local apps and developer ecosystem. And the idea here is that we're supposed to be promoting smart technologies such as APIs to the developer community. We're a very, very new organization. I think we just kicked off sometime in June 2012. Okay, next slide, please. And what's in store for Smart DevNet in 2014? Well, we're always glad to be we're a proud partner of DevCon. We always have DevCon helping us out in activities, and we always try to help out DevCon whenever we can. What's coming up for next year? We anticipate we'll be having more telco APIs coming out for the developers to play around with. That's both from Smart and from our partners. In 2014, we'll also be announcing a very big partnership with a well-known global telco API brand, which you probably already know. We'll be having a lot more developer events and hackathons throughout 2014. The biggest hackathon we've ever mounted in 2013 was Angel Hack Manila. And we did that also in cooperation with DevCon. So we're proud to announce today that we'll be having Angel Hack Manila Spring 2014. So that's sometime around June or July. That's something to look forward to. We usually have 2 Angel Hacks a year. We just had Angel Hack Davao just last weekend. We'll probably be having another Angel Hack in another Philippine city. We won't divulge if it's going to be north or south, but we'll definitely be having another one. Next slide, please. So here's some of our recent events. Next slide. I think it's best to describe what we do in terms of pictures, because picture says 1,000 words, as you say. And this is some of the stuff we've been doing. So this is a picture from Angel Hack Davao just last weekend. It was a 48-hour hackathon. And next slide, please. And we organized this around the theme of Hack to Help. So as we all know, we had this recent disaster involving Typhoon Yolanda. And a lot of the people in the developer community have been asked to help out in whatever way they can. And of course, the best way the developer community can help is by building systems. So we build it around that theme. Next slide, please. Okay, this is another scene from Angel Hack Davao. This is the T-shirt that we provided for the attendees. That's the happy T-shirt recipient. And of course, this is a picture of volunteers from DevCon Davao. They've helped out in our event. They've helped out in the registration desk, as you can see. And of course, they're always happy to help, which is what I like about DevCon especially. Always happy to help. Next slide, please. Okay, Angel Hack Manila was another event that we did. This was sometime in June 2012. There were about 250 developers that came together for this event. It was another overnight hackathon. We think this is the biggest hackathon ever in the Philippines. And we'll be having this again in June 2014. So that's a scene over there. You can see lots of people, lots of devs, all crammed in front of their laptops. Next slide, please. This is a group photo, one of the many teams. I think there were 52 teams that competed in Angel Hack Manila. And this is a team actually from Smart. And this is the winning team. This is the group called PageSnap. They developed an application called PageSnap, which turns any Facebook page into an Android application. It compiles a Facebook page into an APK. And they won the grand prize winner. And as a result of this, they were sent to Silicon Valley to pitch to Silicon Valley venture capitalists and investors. And I understand they had a great time. Next slide, please. Okay, Open Data Hack. This is another hackathon we did, I think about 3 weeks ago. And this is a hackathon that we did in cooperation with the Philippine government. As far as I can tell, this is the very first Philippine government big data hack in the Philippines. It involved data sets that were released by the Philippine government under the new open data policy. What I understand is Malacanang was so happy at the result of this hackathon. They're going to be creating more hackathons like this around the country, exposing more and more of government data to the public, especially to you guys, you developers. Next slide, please. This is another picture from the Open Data Hack, another happy team here. The hack was also known as Kabantay ng Bayan Hackathon. See, the idea here is that the government wanted to make its data transparent to the public through applications. Next slide, please. And this is from our Bigas to Hack hackathon. We had a hackathon in Los Baños, Laguna, and we rented a bus to bring developers from Makati to Los Baños. Next. And this is a team in the Erie hack. The objective was to create agricultural applications. Next slide, please. And the interesting thing about this particular hackathon is it wasn't confined to software. There were also some hardware hacks as well. You see that thing that's actually an Android phone connected to this this robot, and it's controlling, the smartphone actually controls the robot as it glides through the fields. That's supposed to be the intention anyway. Next slide, please. Okay, so the end of my pitch. Join us. This is our Facebook group, Facebook page, that's our Twitter account, and that's our website. So if you want to know more about these events, if you want to participate in these events, I encourage you to join the Smart Developer Network. But wait, there's more. Okay, the other point of my talk here is I'd like to introduce the concept of Hack to Help, which we announced at Angel Hack Davao. It's basically, the idea here is to build tech solutions for crisis relief to help the Philippines. Next slide, please. As you know, there's this big crisis in the south right now. A lot of typhoon damage, a lot of earthquake damage. A lot of Filipinos are asking themselves, how can they help? And specifically, how can the developer community help? Okay, so what we believe is that if you're a developer or you're a part of a developer community, you have a very special skill. So don't confine yourself to packing relief goods or just volunteering for this and that. You actually have the capacity to help a lot of people through your own skill set by building systems. Next slide, please. So here are some of the efforts that we've seen in the past few weeks. Over on Geek List, there was a movement created called Hack for Good, the hashtag Hack for Good. This is actually an international community that was put together on Geek List. And what's cool about it is that in only 10 days, 377 developers around the world created 13 projects. And these are already launched and in deployment. So this is one effort. Next slide, please. Also around the same time, there was a group of developers that were brought together by a guy from Facebook. I know his name is Elmer Soto. He founded this movement called Hack for a Cause, and they had an overnight hackathon, and it was very well received. It had a lot of following in the Facebook community, and there were a lot of good projects that resulted as a result of this hackathon. Next slide, please. Okay, hindi kita yung taas, no? But this was actually a page from the Facebook group, Hack for a Cause Philippines, which is still open. You can join today. I'm one of the admins. The objective of this group was to get together developers who wanted to create systems for typhoon relief efforts. And apart from Hack for a Cause and Hack for Good, there was another hack ba? It was basically just a meetup of developers held recently called Code.ph. And they had their own efforts. And I think one of the results was a site called readyph.com. Okay, next slide, please. And Angel Hack Davao, of course, was part of these efforts. We used the hashtag Hack to Help, and that was the theme of this particular hackathon, to develop relief apps. This is a picture of bangonph.com. I think this is one of the better sites that came out of these efforts. This was produced in an overnight hackathon in Cebu. It's a very good website that basically consolidates all information about areas in the country that need relief. It's very comprehensive, and I encourage you to check it out. Next is the screenshot from reliefboard.com. It was another application that resulted from one of these hackathons. Reliefboard.com is interesting because it has SMS integration, and both Smart and Globe contributed their SMS APIs to enable SMS mobile terminating and mobile originating SMS for this application. So you can actually text your panawagan and it goes into the website. And they have an API also if you want to integrate this information on your own relief effort. Next slide, please. Okay, Oplan Hatid. You've probably heard about this. This is that volunteer movement run by James Deakin out of Villamor. This is the website that went up to support it. This also includes SMS API integration, both from Smart and Globe once again. Next, please. So this is our challenge to you. This is my challenge to you guys. You guys are maybe a representative of maybe 1% of the entire Philippine population, and you possess a very special skill that can help this country now in this time of need. So my challenge to you is, how can you help? How do you think you can help? Use your skills, use your developer skills, use your developer community skills to help the Philippines, and I can assure you, you'll sleep much better at night. So that's basically all I have to say. So hack to help, everybody, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Smart. So guys, how can you help? Tweet us your answer and use mobile, dev, and beyond for a chance to win special prizes, all right? So we have Smart, and now we will be having Globe Lab. So please welcome Michelle Santos.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Is everybody up? Ready for your mobile dev and beyond? Good morning. Yeah. Can I have more energy from you guys? Good morning. Yeah, I know we're still a bit light with the breakfast, but I think there's more of stuff, not just only for your stomach, but also for your brains for today. So I would like to, first of all, I'd like to thank DevCon and congratulate them for having this event, this summit, and thank you for extending the invite for us and having all of these developers, students, IT enthusiasts, business managers who are into mobile development and innovation driven. So my name again is Michelle. I'm from Globe Labs. I'm gonna give you a short discussion about what we do, similar to what Jim said. So I'll share you also what we're doing in the community. Okay. Next slide, please. So basically, looking at the slide, you can see there are 4 components in a mobile ecosystems. You have your distribution channels, you have your mobile platforms, you have your API SDK development. So I think this is not something new to you guys, and of course your apps and content. Where do we go into play to this? We try to be at the center so that if you need any help, if you have any questions, we are here to help you and give you guidance. Let's say, I want to create app in Android, but I don't know how to do this. So perhaps we can help you by giving you some links, giving you tutorials, and even directing you or connecting you to a developer advocate who do Android development. So just to give a very, very quick intro, Globe Labs is part of Globe Telecom. It's a developer community. We were launched way back in 2008. So last August 7, we had our 5th anniversary. And as a treat for you guys, we have launched our new sets of APIs, telco APIs, that would help you develop and innovate and also monetize with your application. So we work with individuals, go back. We work with individuals and developer enthusiasts and also startups. Our membership is composed already 5,000 members plus. So I hope that for those who are not yet member of Globe Labs, I hope you join so that number get increased and you'll get you'll hear updates and news and even tutorials and latest information about our APIs and how can you innovate from that. We're composed fairly of IT professionals, students, business managers, and even non-IT professional. We have a couple of there are economists. My boss is basically an economist. He's not an IT guy, but he's in this space. Next, please. So what do we do? Our basic mantra is to help you learn, build, and launch, like my shirt says, sorry. So learn, build, and launch. So we provide developer tools and platforms, conduct trainings and seminars or even support events similar to this one. And being a telco, we have an access or we know what our subscriber wants or such trends, so we can give you market insights and advices as well. Next slide, please. So just, like I mentioned a while ago, last Saturday, we were able to launch our new sets of telco API, which is enable you to do integrate SMS, voice, and even monetize, which is charging API. So if you want to try it out or if you have a laptop here, you can just easily go at developer.globelabs.com.ph. And just to take note, way back in 2008, we're the first Philippine telco to ever have an open platform for telco API. So way back then, we had our SMS, LBS, or location-based, and voice. Next, please. So what are the things with the new API? So these are RESTful interfaces. So before, if you're familiar with web services, the old APIs is basically SOAP. Medyo mahirap siyang intindihin and mahirap to get around with it. Now we follow the RESTful API services that follow a certain standard, which is the One API GSMA. We have 3 sets of APIs launched last Saturday, which is SMS, charging, and voice. Voice is powered or in partnership with Tropo. Then we enable now, not just for telco integration, but also a way for developers to monetize. So if you're a game developer, remember in the Philippines, not everyone has a credit card, and most of the subscriber doesn't have a credit card. So how can they pay your in-app? Or let's say, I want to buy, example lang, okay? This is just a fair example. I want to have an extra live in Candy Crush. But you have to use a credit card, right, to buy for that. Now, we enable you to integrate your games, game downloads, and game in-app using tapping to the subscriber's wallet, which is the prepaid or charge to bill. I'll get through with it later. With the new set of APIs, you get a dedicated 8-digit access number. So it starts with 2158, then 4 more digits. Now it's easy for you to top up your developer wallet. It's already integrated to our GCash, so it's just as simple as paying a Meralco bill. So you could just type bill pay, then your amount, your MPIN, then Globe Labs, then your email address, and that's it. Your developer wallet has been reloaded. And last but not the least, this is what we are very, very proud of, is that we have integrated automated subscriber consent flow. It means that you don't have to create your own registration process anymore to get the mobile number of a certain person of your application. So they just need to text info and they say yes, and that's it. Next, please. So what are the things that you can do with the Globe Labs API? So these are examples. So with SMS, you can do your message blaster. So if you have, if you're a small company and you would like to promote your products and services or to your existing base, you can use the SMS API. Then you can also do alerts and notification. With the last Saturday's event, one of the top winners created a Philippine Stock Exchange alert. Every time, depending on his setting or configuration, every time a certain item or stock goes down, he gets an SMS saying, hey dude, you need to check your stocks because it's going down. So that's an example. Now you can also do group messaging. Would it be easier for you and your friends, or even for who are here? Sorry, I barely see everyone. Who are here are students or still studying college or high school? I barely see everyone right now. So I see a couple of hands up front. If you're working in a student org, would it be easier for you just to create or text a one number and everybody gets it? So if you ask, saan tayo kakain? To 2158-1234, and everybody gets it, then you reply, kahit saan. Everybody gets the same reply as well. So it's easier for you to do that with the SMS API. You can do SMS survey and even SMS activation. Now with voice, well, you can do voice survey. Let's say there's an automatic call-in. What is your favorite caller? And it's automatically recorded, and you don't need to, to phrase, or let's say render the voice in order to be a text. Automatic na siya. When you say read, it just stores a variable, and that variable, you can just store it somewhere in your file, display it to a page, or even to your database. You can have easy integrated customer service. So even at your home, you can ask your friend, or let's say for student orgs, if you want to, welcome to student org IT. If you want to know more about our events, press 1, press 2. It's easy. It's like 1, 2, 3, about less than 20 to 30 lines of code for the voice API. Then you can have conference call, one number, 2158-1234, then automatically a maximum of 30 people can be in that call. Call forwarding or transfer. And even, let's say you want to have you don't want your mobile number to be out there, but you just give, oh, if you want to contact me and you're in Globe or TM or Touch Mobile, you just dial in 2158-5678. You don't give your actual phone number, but that code, then it automatically transferred to your mobile phone. Text to voice call outs and voice surveys. Then for charging APIs, you can already, like I mentioned, you can have paid downloads. Of course, not with the normal Android or Apple store. You can have paid subscription. Let's say if you want to have let's say a daily reminder of what to do of your assignment, you have this. And of course, in-app purchases. Next, please. So we have 3 easy steps. You just sign up at developer.globelabs.com.ph. You create an app and you launch. That's a fairly straightforward. Next, please. So to sign up, it's there. You just need an email address, your name, of course, email address, and automatically you get 1,000 worth of API credits, and which includes 13,000 incoming SMS. Then it's easy, like I mentioned, it's easy to top up or to reload your developer wallet. All the API credits at the moment, the API credits expires after 30 days. But we're working on it. Perhaps we can extend it, so don't fret yet. We just launched this one last Saturday, and we're trying to study what do you like. Next, please. So how to create an app? So you just put your app name, short description, your callback URLs and redirect URLs, and you automatically get an assigned 8-digit access number starting with 2158, then followed by 4-digit suffix. Then you get your API key and secret. You will use when you do your API calls. Next, please. So when you do launch, so you're ready, you have your application, you want your subscriber or your user to be part of that app. There's 2 ways you can do, this is already automated. You don't need to code it, just passing parameters. So you just do SMS and web form. So for the SMS, if your subscriber knows your access number, 2158-5678, they can just easily text info, then they get the instruction on how to subscribe. Then if they say yes, you, as a developer, using your callback URL or particularly your redirect URL, you get the mobile number of the subscriber and access token. Take note, we don't get personal information on the automated subscriber consent flow. It's just only the phone number and the access number. It's up to you to ask the rest. We give you the flexibility for that. Next is for the web, it's similar to Facebook OAuth. It will ask you, hey, you want this application access your mobile number, then they enter their phone number, the code, and that's it. Next, please. So what is the minimum amount? So if you load 100 peso, you get a maximum of 500 incoming SMS. But if you're an SMS only sa application, the maximum SMS transactions you can get, or what I mean is outgoing SMS from your application, magsisend ka to number of people, you can get a maximum of 200 because it's 50 cents. Then if you want to do a voice call, you get 20 minutes maximum for 100 peso. But like I mentioned, if you sign up, you already get automatically 1,000 peso worth of API credits. So a maximum of SMS outgoing or you send to your friends or employee or other people, you can get 2,000 outgoing SMS. Next, please. So there's a lot of range of that. So we also have 5,000. The maximum of incoming is 70,000 incoming SMS. Next. So this is fairly from if you're a consultant and everybody, IT guy, that you'd like to leverage SMS in your application, you can work on this. As mentioned by Jim, last November 6, we did a soft launch of our APIs during the Hack for a Cause, organized by Facebook, in which 2 groups or 3 groups were able to use our API. One of which is Relief Board, and also a couple of people from Cebu. Next, just go through it. If you're the mobile app developer, you can leverage on our charging API so that you can monetize your apps and get rich. Next, please. Our traditional VAS services, so you can use voice or SMS to deliver your information and messages. Next. Sorry. Next, please. Next. Yeah, just one more. Sige. So this is your charging API. So how do you earn? So you get 70-30 in favor of the developer. So if we have 100 peso, you earn 68 pesos, and only 25 pesos goes to Globe and 5% to our partner aggregator. So it's up to you to monetize from it. So just one more. So these are some of our Call for Apps programs. So we also ask developer to submit application in mobile, Android, iOS, Symbian. So more to come for next year. Next. So we work with developer groups similar to DevCon, Google Developers Group, Mozilla, Philippine BlackBerry, Python, PHRUG, and more. So we've been around for quite some time. If you want to catch us or ask us information, most of the dev events were there. Next. So that's last year. We were able to have 70 developer events. I think we were able to close it for this year about 60 events. Next. Okay, yeah. So if you have any questions or information, I'm here, or you can just easily get in touch with us, our email, or be part of the community. So or send us a tweet. So thank you, and again, congratulations, DevCon, and thank you for extending the invite. Good day.
Thank you so much, Michelle from Globe. So you guys, tell us your thoughts, tweet us, just use the hashtag mobile dev and beyond. So, after Globes, we also have Orange and Bronze. So please welcome Mr. Callan Legaspi. While waiting for Mr. Callan, we also have new freebies from Google Developers Connect. So thank you very much, Google. And after the partner talks, we will be giving away prizes. So for those who join pre-events contest, you will have the chance to claim your prizes today. So is Mr. Kalen around? All right. So good to see myself on the big screen. I feel like a movie star. I can't see. So guys, have you already tweeted your thoughts or the question to the the answer to the previous question? How can you help? Just use the hashtag mobile dev and beyond and you will win exciting prizes. All right. Meanwhile, we would like to thank our sponsors. This event is co-presented by GitHub, Globe, Smart, and Orange and Bronze. Our gold sponsors, Deltec and Firefox. Our silver sponsors are Microsoft, Fast Track IT Academy, Accenture, and Power Mac Center. They have booths outside the cinema, so you may visit them during the break. Our tech and media partners, Stack Overflow, Speed Magazine, Philippine Web Designers Organization, Drupal Pilipinas, When in Manila, TechTalks.ph, WebGeek, BlackBerry, Active Show, and GMA News Online. So we have here Mr. Kellen. Here's the remote. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kellen Legaspi.
Hello. I think we can start with, tamad ako gumawa ng presentation, so I think we can start with some videos. All right. And there's no sound.
Company which has the best developers, which does the best things, and at the same time doesn't lock me up in a cubicle expecting unreasonable things.
Been working way too much, need to get out and get fucked up. What's going on? Where's it at? Make some calls to make it crack, let's see.
Peanut butter or cheese?
Anong tanong eh? Peanut butter.
Ako homesick na ako. Tayo. Heard about ONB nung magkaroon ng Mindanao Roadshow. CEO mismo yung na-meet namin and si Sir Butch din. So parang doon na-inspire ako sa kanila. So I decided to apply for this internship.
It's fun. It's like I took a summer class because a lecture, lots of books. And it's been fun so far. 1 to 2 days like alam mo na agad yung mga practices.
I don't care what E is. Provide me the type of E. Ano masasabi mo kay May?
Yun nga, magaling siya. Pag binaba mo yan, siya yung type ng tao na gusto mo maging mentor kasi nga sobrang passionate niya kaya makakahawa ko sa kanya kapag lagi mo siyang kasama. Tuwa nga ako na talagang hinahanap niya yung flaws namin.
I think students will have a lot of fun learning here because the mentors are good, the people are cool, the environment is very friendly. We have ping pong tables, we also have board games, so there's no downtime. If the students are in training, then they will be doing other stuff that will simulate their learning.
So far it's been quite relaxed, but at the same time, I've learned more in my stay here than my entire 3 years of college.
I learned a lot.
Maganda experience siya kasi nalaman namin yung weaknesses ng coding style niya. It went well.
Wala na akong gagawin, puro video na lang.
looking for some expertise in Java technologies.
Yeah, basically we were already using a framework that has grown significantly in popularity called AppViews. AppViews was, is the foundation for an enterprise product that we were developing, and I found that on the AppViews mailing list, there was good feedback that I was receiving on this mailing list, and it was from Orange and Bronze.
To really, integrating, the teams together as one team. So that's one of the things that we liked a lot, and just the fact that, just the proficiency in the tools, just the core competencies, and, it's just, that's really one of the biggest things that made us go with Orange and Bronze. Developers on both ends here, and both here and the Orange Bronze side would actually go the extra mile, work very late just to get things resolved.
The difference with Orange and Bronze is in their people. They are well qualified, competently trained staff. Their communication skills are exemplary, and they care.
The company is already familiar with Scrum and Agile type practice, because here at Norvax we write a lot of test cases, and so that's one of the striking differences that we saw with Orange and Bronze is just just the core, the similarities in the tools and kind of the practices that we wanted to do.
You have some great characters here, and usually that's the best developers, and I think we've proven that. You guys love technology, and you allow your developers to be geeks, and when you walk around here, it's a place where people get to be creative, get to think, by themselves. You really encourage that.
As I said, it's a great company to work with. The guys are very professional, and the company is very professional too.
Orange and Bronze is your commitment to continuous improvement. You're constantly seeking out the latest and greatest innovations in the industry.
You guys have been exceptional, accommodating in our needs, and it's been a much different outsourcing experience from previous ones that we had.
It's been the most successful outsourcing.
I think Orange and Bronze practices are more to help the customers and make them succeed and be a part of the team. So that's why I really like working.
They recommend you. In fact, we just talked about the other day about recommending you to some of our friends back in the U.S.
I would recommend to any enterprise, looking at Orange and Bronze for any outsourced software development, training needs. I would highly recommend them.
Mahal yung mga artistang yan. Do I still have time to make a presentation? Ilang minutes pa ba? So I've got a Libre office thing going on there. So if do I still have time for the presentation? All right, great. So just a bit about my company. Ewan ko kung aabot hanggang doon. Wow. So we're a Filipino software development firm. We're a consulting firm, so sometimes companies hire us just to give them advice, like, okay, show up in the office every week and tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Sometimes they ask us to design their systems, their architectural design. Sometimes, a lot of work is full-blown software development projects. We also have some UI projects every now and then. And sometimes clients would just want us to do training for them on the latest methodologies, technologies, best practices, etc. We've been an early adopter of a lot of technologies and best practices. So we were the first company, as a company, to use Agile. Even Git. I remember having that discussion with one developer when Linus Torvalds released Git some time after. I was saying, oh, why don't we use Git internally? And this developer was saying, no, it's never gonna work because of this reason and that reason. And then down the road, developers in my company started to accept Git, and then we started using Git. So we're probably the first company in the Philippines to actually start using Git as an organization. And we've got clients in a lot of countries, so we're helping clients all over the world. You get to experience, if you're part of Orange and Bronze, you get to experience a variety of domains, business domains, as well as different clients from different cultures. Well, here's a few of our big name clients, but we also help a lot of smaller clients, some technology companies that are in their small to medium, still in the startup or growth stage. And I cannot see. It's a pretty tough screening process. So last year it was 3% acceptance rate. Now it's only 1% acceptance rate. We want to get the best and the brightest because we want to make sure that it's a very good, very cohesive team. So the screening is not just technical. It's also we're looking for people with good character, people with the potential to be leaders. And we put them through a very rigorous training course. And throughout an ONBer's career, there's a focus on learning and growth. So there's a lot of formal and informal learning programs. So it's not just technologies, but also best practices as well as professional skills. And if you're interested in learning more, you can look at our online magazine, orangeandbronze.com/orangeorchard. You can sign up for our Facebook page. You can follow us on Twitter. And I don't know how to do a short form on Google+, but you can also look for us on Google+. All right. And that's it. If you're interested in applying, just send your CV to careers@orangeandbronze.com. If you're from outside of the GMA area, so we get a lot of hires from Visayas, from Northern Luzon, from Bicol, from Mindanao. We provide the out-of-town hires with 6 months of free accommodations, and as well as interns. So interns from out of town, from outside of GMA, also get free accommodations. All right, so that's my company. Hopefully, for those who think this ONB might be a good place for them, consider applying. And looking forward to meeting you. All right, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Sir Callo, thank you so much from Orange and Bronze. All right, Dan, what do you have here today?
Right, so just a little bit of icebreaker. We have a few shirts from... Who's our sponsor for the shirts?
From Stock Overflow and from Google, Dan, we have shirts, and we were going to give them away for those who made the hashtags na mobile dev and beyond. So, but first and foremost, we would like also to give prizes for those people who joined the pre-promo. So we have Stock Overflow limited editions of shirts.
All right, so unahin muna natin tong Stack Overflow shirts raffle. If your name is called, just present your ID to Dominic and Kim here on stage, beside the stage. So let's call on $1 million t-shirts to Alvern Tesorero.
Albert, where are you, Albert? All right, okay.
The second one is...
The second one is Mr. Alfredo Jereza. Where are you, Mr. Alfredo? So please just proceed to this right corner on the stage. And our third person, Dan?
Is Colleen Kier Ambrosio.
All right. And we also have Mr. Nino Eclarin, or is it Nino or Nino Eclarin?
Nino Eclarin. All right, just approach any of the DevCon staff wearing red shirts. They're very friendly, like us.
Yes, and you can choose whatever size you want. And let's proceed to our next person, Dan, our lucky person. We have...
We have Axel Advento.
Okay, we have Mr. Axel. And for our last person...
Who's this last person? She's very familiar.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
Eto na, si Miss Josan Astrid Domitita. Please get your shirt here.
Congratulations. She's actually from Google Developers Connect, and she's actually one who's our sponsor as well for our
So
community.
congratulations to those lucky winners. All right, so here we go, Dan. Let's proceed to our next speaker. To give us a short talk, may we call on Mr. Jun Eusebio from Firefox. A round of applause, please.
Just check my swagger out there on the dance floor. Yeah, all the ladies gonna knock on my
Alright.
door.
Magandang umaga pa rin, di ba? Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Okay pa ba kayo? Okay na to. Okay, good. So, I'm gonna talk to you about Mozilla. So, I'm the community manager for Mozilla Philippines. So, we are a community, so we are part of a volunteers. So lahat ng mga kasama ko doon sa labas, we are all volunteers. So hindi kami binabayaran, we are unpaid. So we're just doing this to share to you the mission of Mozilla. So ano ba yung Mozilla? Pag narinig yung Mozilla? Any idea? Browser, yeah. So Mozilla is a non-profit global organization that promotes openness, opportunity, and participation to have a better web experience. So ngayon, I'm just gonna tell you, the web is your realm. So kung nakita nyo nung kanina sa booth namin, we're having this Firefox OS, our new mobile operating system. So what other products that we have aside from Firefox, the browser, is our Firefox OS. So our marketplace is a open market, so you can have it hosted and self-hosted. And one good thing about our marketplace is all the revenues will be given to the developers. No equity will be getting from Mozilla. So other things that we're doing in our community, we have our Firefox browser, Firefox OS, and our online community, MozillaPhilippines.org, our localization, so we're trying to localize the Firefox browser into Tagalog, and we also have Bicol, Ilocano, and Chabacano. So we also have, if you're still a student, so if you want to volunteer and be part of our community, you can join Firefox Student Ambassador. So you can represent Mozilla in your campus. Then of course, Mozilla Reps. So if you have this kind of high level of commitment to the Mozilla project, you can apply to Mozilla Reps. So just like me and Bob, so you can represent your country. So that's it, MozillaPhilippines.org. You can contact us at info@mozillaphilippines.org, and our Twitter at MozillaPH. And if you're still on using IRC, anyone here still using IRC? This is not a hashtag anyway. So this is our IRC channel. So if you're interested, we want to encourage you to join our community and be a contributor to the Mozilla project. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Sir June. And as I've mentioned, diba, earlier we said that we were going to give you many, many prizes. So the fun never stops there because we will give you more and more surprises and more prizes. Right, Dan? Hi, Dan. Are still doing good. Guys, are still doing good. Hello! Ayan. Alive na, alive pa naman. Okay, so don't worry, guys. We're going to feed you more food later on. So, relax lang kayo dyan. So, anyway, Dan, what is our question nga kanina for our hashtags?
Yup. We're actually reading your tweets right now.
Yes.
Later on, siguro we will we will flash on screen the ones that we will pick the best top 3. So let's look for a good tweet.
Okay, so what was the question?
How can you help? I think that was
How
the question
can
raised
you
earlier.
help? So let's read some answers from our Twitter. By the way, our hashtag is mobile dev and beyond. So Dan, do you have any answers na?
There's actually a lot, but I'm just looking for the one.
Okay, sige.
You know what are our other prizes for today? We have a lot here.
Oo, ito lang. Pili lang kayo. Diba? So, pili ka na kung anong maganda dyan.
Well, actually, this one is a good one.
Okay.
She said, mobile dev is an opportunity for me to educate myself and to be able to share the knowledge to others. And maybe that's what she planned to do as well, to help.
Okay.
So learning is the first step so that you can share as well, right?
Tama.
So the lucky tweet came from, no, guys, please note, her name is Ina. I think, I'm not sure if she's a girl or, but it's at Teach Sab Learn.
Okay.
Teach Sab Learn. All right, so
Once
please
again, anong
claim.
sabi niya? Anong sabi niya?
She said, mobile dev is an opportunity for me to educate myself and to be able to share the knowledge to others. Miss Universe!
Yay! Miss Universe. Okay, I have also here Dan from Martin Galero. Here's his answer. Promoting opportunities like these can inspire budding CS students like me to pursue careers in many fields. So that's from Martin Galero. So for the last one, Dan.
This one is not really related to the question, but I think it's worth sharing.
Okay.
She said, it is nice for our telco to provide APIs to help mobile developers reach the community because, of course, they are the ones who could really bridge the gap between the big companies and our developers, our Filipino developers. So her name is Trisha Reyes at helpless_03. I don't think you're helpless, right?
Okay, so congratulations, guys. So moving on with our next speaker. He will going to talk about the opportunities in mobile development in the Philippines. And he is a one-half of Mochi Bits, a game development team born in December 2010. He believes the mobile market allows the casual gamer or user to exist, which in turn changes the playing field sufficiently to allow more indie developers to play with the big boys.
Right. He also wants to see more Filipinos populate and succeed in the world of mobile app development because, of course, our population is really growing and growing, and we can't wait to be very big enough to conquer the world, perhaps. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder and game developer at Mochibit, Mr. Howard D. Go.
A round of applause, please.
Hi, good morning. Okay, so I'll just check if this works. And it doesn't. Okay, so why am I giving this talk? When I was told that the topic would be opportunities in mobile development, one of the things I thought about was, is this the best time to discuss it? And that's why my first slide is, why am I giving this talk? Okay. 3 years ago, when I started doing game development with my partner in Mochibits, I immediately said I wanted to help other people develop games. I felt there was something to teach, something to learn about it. And my mother asked me, why would you want to teach people to develop games? You would create your own competition. And that time, I told her, I don't know if you can read it up there, it's a huge, huge market. Oops. What's going on? Wait. Okay. It's a huge, huge market. It's not clicking. Okay, can you just click down, please? One more. Okay, so there's no worries. There's billions of users, basically. They're making billions of dollars. There's no reason why another person playing the game would be competition. There's just too many people involved. Okay, if I could make $1 million and someone makes another $1 million, that's fine, that's great. So no issue. Okay? I'm not making $1 million, by the way. So next. However, I also said indies can and should help each other. In fact, a lot of indies at the time were succeeding because they were backing each other up. When one person would release a game, he would tell his fellow indie developer, and they would cross-promote one another. And that allowed them to be featured, that would allow them to enter the top 25. And back then, it made a huge difference. So a lot of independent developers succeeded. Okay? But nowadays, next please. Can you click one more, please? Yeah. Nowadays, my answer is different. There is urgency. Can you click again? Okay. The slice of the pie is smaller now. There are a lot of big developers who decided, wow, the mobile market is growing so fast. It's making so much money. I want to be part of it. And so now if you look at the App Store, a lot of the major developers are there. They're making a lot of money. In the past, you would have games like Doodle Jump, games like Impossible Test, made by independent developers. Now you would see big games by companies that were worth millions of dollars, if not more. So the independent developer now has a harder time. Okay, there is urgency. Okay, it's working all of a sudden. Okay, there is urgency, and there's a problem now. If you try to develop a game now, your chances of succeeding are significantly smaller than before. I can tell you that when we started 3 years ago and one of our games, one of our most successful games came out, it made a lot of money. Okay, now we made better games. They are better games. They're well done, but they're not making as much money as that game did back then. Why? Because there's so much competition in the market. And so it's a very different ballgame. It's much more competitive. And this talk is about that competition, about how it can be dealt with, and what opportunities still remain for us. Okay? So, the situation. This was released in November 2013. One company did a study and they found out that if you look at the revenue in the app stores of Android and of Google Play and iOS, 50% of all that revenue belongs to only 25 developers. That means almost, back then, that year, we'll see some slides, almost nothing will be left for the average developer, and you're going to see why. Okay. Someone found out that these were the numbers of the revenue out there from last year. I'll just go through the numbers here. So last year they found out, actually this is not a very good slide. Let me show you the better one. Okay, there, okay. So there's a better way to look at it, okay? Google has 900 million users, Apple has 600 million users, Microsoft has 12 million. I want you to just notice this thing. Last year, Google paid out $900 million to developers. Apple paid $5 billion to the developers. Okay? This looks pretty bad already. With 900 million users, developers were paid $900 million. That's $1 per user. Okay? From 600 million users, basically you would get on average $8.33 per user. And it's actually worse, because if you take away half, because half belongs to the top 25, and we are not part of the top 25, now it's 50 cents per user, and $4.17 per user for iOS. The average app now would make around $10,000 for iOS and around $3,000 for Google. Okay? And it's actually a little bit worse than that. Okay? There's something called zombie apps. Okay? Not the apps like Zombie Tsunami or the Walking Dead app. These zombie apps are apps that basically aren't downloaded, aren't updated. They're basically uploaded by the developer once and left alone, never to be looked at or developed again. It's basically the app that if you did it, you'd show it off initially, and since it didn't do well, if anyone asked you about your app, you'd pretend you never made it. Okay, you pretend it didn't exist because it's an embarrassing app at some point. And someone did a study. If you recall a while ago, I showed there were basically 1 million apps in the Apple App Store, around 800,000 in the Google App Store. In this particular study, they looked at apps that were still existing. And if you look at it, the Apple App Store actually just has 617,000 apps that are still active. Around 400,000 are totally gone. Okay, dead. Okay, so if you look at it this way, a huge chunk of apps were never updated, sent once, and turned into zombies right away. And even among the 600,000 apps, okay, they found out 65%, okay, of that 600,000 plus apps. And actually, if you add everything together of Google and Apple together, that was around 700,000. 65% of those Apple apps, okay, can be considered dead. Okay, so from the 900,000, a lot of them are no longer in the App Store, dropped completely, never updated again. But even those that are still available, okay, are considered dead because there's almost no downloads, no more updates, only got downloaded once by your friend or by your mother or by you. Okay, and that's it. To give you a quick picture, okay, this particular study discovered, okay, if you look at, I don't know if you guys can still read it from there, on Android, only 3 apps have over 500 million downloads. 21 apps have over 100 million downloads, and then 5,000 apps have over 1 million downloads, okay? Google likes to brag about how many downloads they have, so does Apple. Almost all of those downloads belong to just the top 25 developers. So the average developer will almost get nothing of that pie, okay, unless they do it right. And I'm here to tell you that there's sort of imbalance that's created. There are the huge successful developers. They're the ones that barely make $1 a day or a month even. And then there's a chunk that succeeds. They do pretty well. And if you Google about them, you'll find out there are developers who make $400,000 a year. Okay, and I can tell you that something like that is possible. It is doable. Okay, it pays off with hard work. If you're willing to do the research, to do the studies, to develop properly, that opportunity is something that is achievable. So I'd like to give you some choices, because this is about opportunities in mobile development. And there are basically 3. Okay. The first is, of course, get yourself employed. And I asked some HR friends what the average salary would be. And basically, it depends on how much you know. How many languages can you program in? How many platforms do you know? How good are you at coding? What are your other skills? Can you also design? What's your experience? Can you do project management? You would earn basically from anywhere from 20,000 to 100,000 pesos. Okay? Depending on your skill sets. Okay? Depending on the current demand. Okay? Or you can develop for other people. And I put there 5,000 pesos to $25,000. Now you might be wondering, why is the difference over 200 times? And the reason why is if you're going to develop an app for a Filipino who has no idea what app development is about, he will think 5,000 pesos is expensive. And I can tell you this from all of my friends who develop apps. Whenever it's a Pinoy who's like, I have this great app that will make my business successful. I want someone to do it. How much will it cost? You know, something like that's going to cost like $5,000. What? That's so expensive. Maybe 5,000 pesos is okay, because it should be easy, right? Okay. People who don't understand what development requires, what's involved, do not value your skills that much. But it can go up to $25,000 if you find someone, usually a foreigner, who understands app development. Because if you talk to a foreigner who doesn't understand app development, they'd probably pay you $1,000 tops. But if they understand what's involved in an app development, they would understand that it would cost $25,000, maybe more. Okay, but if it's something more than $25,000, it's not something an individual can do. It's something a company would be able to do. But if you're a good developer with good skills and the app is reasonably complicated, you could charge that amount, okay, for a good app. Okay, if you guys remember in one of the first slides I showed, the average app, if you don't include the top 25 developers, would make around $21,000 in iOS. Okay, and more or less, that's how much an average app would cost if you do it for someone else. Okay. Again, it depends if you can find the right customer. And of course, that customer can be a total headache. They get back to you, complain about your app, not say it doesn't work properly, make changes along the way and not want you to charge more. There are a lot of problems. But if you find the right customer, it is it can be quite worth it. Okay? And of course, there's the third choice, and it's a choice I and my partner and others like me have taken to make apps for ourselves, okay, to become an independent game developer. And there's a risk. You could make absolutely nothing or quite a lot. And I can tell you that I'm quite successful. I used to be a VP of a telco, the telco that got bought by the biggest telco that's now bigger. Okay? And I was a vice president there, and I'm now earning 3 times what I used to earn, okay, as a game developer, full-time. And I'm having a great time. I work in coffee shops. Okay? I work at home. Okay? All I need is my computer. And I can get the job done. And I have a great time doing it. And I can be proud enough to show my games to certain people. And I'm here now to discuss, okay, whatever path you take, okay, or of course in the Philippines, you can of course do the sideline method, okay, do all 3. Okay, I know some developers like this also. They are employed, but sometimes they do a secret app for someone else while doing an app for themselves. In fact, I'd say some of you are doing that, right? Yeah, I can see some smiles and head nods. So some of you are doing that. And that's possible. However, there's a risk involved. That means you cannot do your own app as well as you'd like. The quality will suffer. But in any case, any path you take, although the stuff I'm going to say next will apply best if you develop for yourself, because you'll have the most control. Okay, all of these things will hopefully help you make use of the opportunity. Okay, so basically, the topic is opportunities in mobile development, and I basically discussed that. Those are the 3. Okay, but to say that there are opportunities is one thing. To teach you how to do it is another. I know some friends were told there are opportunities in becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, take the leap, and they lost their fortune because no one told them how to do it. So it's not enough to say there's an opportunity. One must speak about how to take advantage of it. And so while that's the point we're going to discuss now, okay, if you choose to make your own apps, okay, these are the things I'd like to share. First, stand on the shoulders of giants. Okay? We are at an age where there are so many blogs, okay, so many people giving advice, okay, on how to develop apps, on what was successful, on what failed. There are people who gave stories of getting 350,000 downloads in the first week and only making $350, which is a very bad conversion. Okay, that's 0.1%. Okay, and they basically went bankrupt. And they gave their lesson, their learnings. There are people who developed apps that made $200,000 in the first month, and they give their story of how they were successful. Those blogs are out there. Read them. They're there to teach. There are also a lot of engines right now to make it easier to code. In the past, you might need to know so many so many ways of coding to port. Now there are engines out there wherein with the touch of a button, you're available in more than one device, more than one platform. Okay? But in the meantime, I am not a giant. You can't quite stand on me, but it's not working again. Next, please. Is anyone there? Okay, in the meantime, next. Okay, here are some ideas I'd like to share. Next, please. Okay, this is a particular game that some of you might be familiar with. It's called Bookworm Heroes. Anyone played this game before? Okay, it's a game that was strangely successful in the Philippines, but it was basically a flop in the US. And I remember when it came out, I was looking at it, I was talking with my partner, and I pointed out why I believed it would fail. Okay, and this is something that you, if you want to become a developer, should take a risk at doing. You have to be arrogant enough to study something and say it will fail for the following reasons. At the same time, you have to be humble enough to look at your own app and say it's pathetic for the following reasons. Why should you be arrogant enough to look at another app? If you're not able to see the strengths and weaknesses of another app, you will not be able to understand the technology behind it, the psychology behind it. And there are psychological rules being followed by the games. And Bookworm Heroes failed because it basically tried to make a word game that was random. There were power-ups that ruined the fun of what word game players wanted. And Mochibits, the company I work with my partner, focuses on word games. So I've done a lot of research on word games, and I know how word game players work. Majority do not like the gameplay of Bookworm Heroes. And that's why when Bookworm Heroes came out, its peak, in the first few days, it reached number 7 overall, number 1 word in the iOS App Store in the US. But look how quick it dropped. Okay? And if you look at its grossing sales, okay, it dropped even faster. So this is the money it made because it's a free game. Okay, it was a free game, started out really high. If you recall, it was about that high, but its conversion was pretty bad. It didn't convert very well. Number 7 overall in downloads, but number 240 overall in terms of revenue. And it disappeared very quickly, okay, in the top games. Okay? So, marketing matters in a way, and in a way it doesn't. Marketing matters more now because the big developers are there. They're making it harder for the small players. Big developers are spending, well, for Candy Crush, $250,000 a day. Okay, so Candy Crush is making $1 million a day, okay, but they're spending $250,000 a day just on advertising. Okay. They have TV ads, ads on your mobile device, ads on the internet. Okay. Because of that, their downloads are extremely high. Because of that, other developers are spending a lot of money to enter the top 10, the top 25, the top 50, which means people like you and me who wants to become a developer has almost no chance to penetrate the free download market or even the paid download market. Because these guys are paying money to enter that area, the top 25, the top 50, where all the real money is. So our chances of succeeding are much lower. Our chances of being featured or recognized are much lower. However, marketing also matters less. And it matters less because it doesn't affect the long tails. Because something else matters more. Okay, as you guys saw, Bookworm Heroes was backed by Pop Games, which is backed by EA. That's millions of dollars right there. They spent a lot to bring it to the top. It didn't even make it to the top. And yet, very quickly, it crashed. Okay, that long tail is a very bad long tail because it's going to go to a point where it will not be worth all the money and marketing they spent on it. Okay. It's making a very little money now. Very little money, considering how much money they're spending on the marketing. Something else matters more. And what matters more? Let me show you. Next slide, please. Okay. This is from September 2012. From App Annie also, one of my favorite sources of sales and ranks for other stores, for other apps. And this is September 2012. I want you guys to notice the apps here. Okay, this is paid, free, grossing. Okay, so if you look at the paid, some apps still remain today. Okay, this is over a year ago. Minecraft is still one of the most successful games. Some of these games are totally gone already. Okay, I don't think anyone still plays Fruit Ninja. Does anyone still play Fruit Ninja? No more, right? Dead game. Okay. Some of these games are gone. Tetris, I think it was only something a lot of old people like me would like to download to remember our lives when we were younger, but it's not something we'll play continuously. Whereas My Perry died, Temple Run Brave, basically obsolete with Temple Run 2. Okay, now this was before Candy Crush came out. So one of the most successful games back then was Dragon Veil. Minecraft was still doing well. But I want you guys to see this game, Candy Crush. Okay, sometimes it enters the top 10. Sometimes it's number 1. But it basically hangs out. Simpsons tapped out. Okay, and Rage of Bahamut. These guys were doing very well before. But after 1 year, and this is November 2013, I want you to see that Clash of Clans remains one of the most successful. Simpsons Tap Out is somewhere in the top 100, okay? But Clash of Clans remains, and Minecraft is still there. So what matters? What matters in the end? They spend on marketing for sure, if you're Clash of Clans. Minecraft, not so much marketing, more word of mouth. But what matters more in the end, if you want to make money, it's retention. Click. Next slide, please. Okay. Retention is required. And if you're going to develop an app, you want to develop in such a way that they will use it more than once. So you shouldn't be thinking, okay, why will they use my app? Why will they download my game? Why will they give it a shot? You should be thinking, why will they do it again and again. Okay? If your utility, if your photo app is something they will only use once and never again, then you've failed. If your game app is something they'll play for 2 days and they'll never return to, then you've failed. If you want to succeed, if you want to have a chance to go viral, if you want to have a chance to make money, then it has to be something that they want to play again. And this means you're going to have to design the game in such a way that you will influence player behavior. Okay? So think of it this way. I want to use one of the games I hate a lot but respect, Candy Crush. Okay? If you guys have played Candy Crush, a part of you realizes it's a really lame game. Okay? It's really bejeweled with juice and candies flying around and an irritating cartoon character. Okay? And it's designed to frustrate you. It's designed to trap you so that you lose that life and be angry about it, and you'd get so addicted that you would play a game for 28 minutes just so that you could go back and have that extra life. Okay, the regenerated life. Candy Crush designed the game to affect your behavior. The first 10, 20 levels are so easy, you don't lose a life. You breeze through it. You enjoy it. You see the juice. You see the fishies coming out, eating the candy. You feel great. You feel it's about skill when it's really about luck. And then suddenly you hit the first stumper, the first wall. Suddenly it's hard to get past. Suddenly you're frustrated. But because you had all of that pleasure of seeing the fishies eating the candy, because you had the pleasure of succeeding and getting 3 stars, you want that experience again. And so you return to the game. You wait for that extra heart to be generated. You ask for friends to give you the heart. Or if you're like my mother, you will call me why I did not yet send the extra heart. Okay? That's retention at its best. You've made the player, okay, have a certain behavior where you control them. And here's the thing. A lot of people think it's about the gameplay. Okay? Gameplay matters. Gameplay is the game mechanics, how the interface works, what's the point of the game. Okay? But what matters a lot for retention is content. Because in the end, the levels, the difficulty, how it moves, how it attracts you, okay, is what makes you come back. Okay? Because if it's just gameplay, okay, Pac-Man would be popular up to now. Because it's a fun game. But there's no new content. People want something else that challenges them, a different experience. It's still basically the same game, but the experience somehow changes. The challenge somehow changes. There's something else to look forward to. People want that content. Okay? And it's also the content that gives people certain rewards, things that they can buy or earn in the game using the currency they earn so that the game becomes juicier somehow, more rewarding. There's vanity items. They can show it off. They become more powerful. By offering that, the player returns. Now, I won't get into it that much because this topic alone is a talk for itself. But this is something you have to understand. That if you're going to make a game, don't think I've got a great game. If you're going to make an app, don't think I've got a great app. You have to ask yourself, what content, what things am I adding to it so that they will use it again? If I give a camera app that allows them to edit it so that their faces look perfect, as if it was touched by Bello, okay? What do I do to it so that after they have that effect and they've used it a couple of times and they're bored, they can now go back and do something else with their faces? Okay? If I sell an app with frames for their photos, I have to update those frames. I have to change new frames. Otherwise, there's no reason to return to the app. At a certain point, they get bored. Okay? There's another thing that matters. Next slide, please. I'd like to talk about a game that some of you might be familiar with. You guys know Logos Quiz? Okay, quite popular last year, right? Okay, I want you to see that it started in a little bit before April 2012, but it's in April 2012 that it became the #1 game in the App Store. Okay, #1 overall, #1 game, #1 trivia, #1 word. Okay, and it slowly declined and sometimes goes up again. Okay, again, this is the US store. In terms, next slide. In terms of grossing ranks, it peaked at 34 overall, 24 games, okay? And again, it slowly declined. Now, this is a good game. It was a game that captured the imagination of a lot of players. It had certain difficulty levels that made you go back to the game. You'd be pondering, what was that logo I saw? And so you want to go back, you want to ask friends, help me solve it. It had great retention, it had great content. It's a good game. But someone came up with a slightly better game. Okay. You guys are all familiar with Icon Pop Quiz? It's basically Logos Quiz coming out almost a year later. Okay. Well, not a year later, sorry. It came out, Logos Quiz was April. This came out November. Okay. And by January 1, it almost became the #1 game. But by that time, Logos Quiz was no longer the #1 game. Okay. By that time, Logos Quiz was like number 50 or something. Okay. Pop Icon was the most popular game of that type. Okay. It was getting great downloads and making very good money. And you have to understand, the money generated in April 2012 compared to the money being generated in January 2013 is a difference of a factor of around 5. Okay? Because back then, in-app purchases were not popular. So if you're making money in in-app purchases, you're lucky to make a few $1,000,000 a month. Now, if you're in the top 5, okay, or even in the top 200, okay, you would be making millions of dollars a month easy. Okay? And they were making basically at a certain point more money than Logos Quiz. But this game was good. Someone made a better game still. It's called What's the Word? If you guys know 4 Picks 1 Word, I want you to know 4 Picks 1 Word. The game you're familiar with, the one that's more successful, is a copy of this game. This game came out first in November 2012, around the same time as Pop Icon Quiz. And it did better than Icon Pop Quiz. Okay? It was #1 in overall downloads, and it also made a hell of a lot more money. The other one at its peak was top 240 overall gross revenue. This one was making was #7 gross revenue. So much better than Pop Icon Quiz, and a hell of a lot better than Logos Quiz. But they weren't the best. Okay. The best one was their copy, which came out almost 4 months later. This is the game you guys might be familiar with. 4 Picks 1 Word. Okay, got #1. Okay. Had that revenue also. And it stays. If you guys would look back, well, I doubt if you guys would remember, but What's the Word is basically in the top 500 overall now. If you look at 4 Picks 1 Word, it's still within the top 300 overall. So it's doing better. So what are the point of all of these slides? It's telling you research is rewarding. If you're going to make a game or an app, it's important to look at what's out there. Okay? Your idea is not a beautiful and unique snowflake. Okay? You are not special. If you guys are a fan of Fight Club, you would know that line. Your app is nothing special. My apps are nothing special. In the end, very few apps are truly original. Okay? There are other apps out there that are probably better and did it quite well. So you should check what's out there. Okay? Find out what's out there and improve, but also imitate. Okay? Pop Icon Quiz looked at Logos Quiz and said, wow, logos are fun, but who the hell knows what the Chinese oil company is? No one knows a Chinese oil company. No one knows that bank in France. So instead, let's use Pop Icons. Because almost everybody would recognize Ronald McDonald or Garfield, okay, or Charlie Chaplin or Michael Jackson. But then someone said, hey, Pop Icon Quiz are fine. But that kind of quiz applies to people who know Hollywood, who watches cartoons, who has so much time that they can watch TV, okay, instead of work and spend time with their family. So let's come up with something else. Let's come up with pictures that give you an idea of a word, which almost anyone can comprehend. It made even more money. But they had a bad title. What's the Word? What kind of title is that? What game you're playing? What's the Word? Okay, in fact, when it first came out, it was called What's the Word? A fun and addictive word association game with Logos Quiz answers. Okay, that was the original title of What's the Word back in November 2012. Okay, so if someone asks you, what's this game? It has 4 pictures in 1 word. And that's exactly what the copycat called their game. 4 picks, 1 word. And so when they came out, everyone said, hey, I like that game. What is it? It's 4 picks, 1 word. Who got the downloads? The original? No, the copycat. Is the content different? Not really. It's practically the same game. But the difference is, one of them had the better name. Okay? And the better logo. If you guys remember the logo of What's the Word, it was like a slightly skewed picture of four things. Okay? So that you're not so sure. Is this a way to edit photos and create a picture frame? Okay. But 4 pics, 1 word was quite clear. It's 4 pics and it even had the word word in the middle. It was very clearly saying what it was. And it beat the original. Next. Next, please. Okay. So, understand success and failure. Look at the games that did well or didn't do well. Understand the difference between games you love and games you respect. There are games that I love, but I know they will never make as much money as Candy Crush, which I respect but hate. Okay? And we have to understand why certain games work the way they work. What's the psychology behind it? Or a while ago, Michelle Santos mentioned her boss is an economist. If you understand economy, you will understand supply and demand. You will understand human behavior. Why certain things make people shop more. Why a person would buy an iPhone, which is overpriced, okay? And why the gold-colored iPhone would outsell all the other phones. Okay? Economy would explain that. Psychology would explain that. These are things we need to understand. Okay? And there are things you need to research on and understand how core loop, monetization, and retention all work together. But again, these are all different talks that won't be covered here. Okay? And next slide. There was supposed to be one more back there. But anyway, some final words. Okay? There is still opportunity. Okay? Next, please. Just okay. To develop apps for yourself or for others, it's still there, but the time is running out. And basically, I'd like to end by saying you have to take that opportunity now. If you have an idea that you'd like to execute, work on it, because it's getting harder. I can tell you it's getting harder. I've seen some indie developers who were successful before who are failing now. One of the independent developers who I respect and look up to used to make apps that were making so much money. Now the new apps that they release with more marketing budget behind it, with more cross-promotions behind it, are releasing apps that are making significantly less money than their first one. Why? Because the top developers, the rich developers, are eating the market. It's getting harder. So the opportunity is there. But if you want to take it, you have to take it soon. Okay? With that, I'd like to end. If you have any questions, I think there's an open forum. Is there? I can't see anyone there. Yeah. Right. That's it? It's done? There's an open forum. Any questions? None? Okay. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So in Mr. Howard's own words, start now and take
Sir,
the opportunity.
Hi, sir. Sir, can we request Mr. Howard to please get back here on stage to give his plaque? Yes, and don't forget, guys, once again, please use hashtags MobileDevAndBeyond to receive more prizes later on. So there, we call on Miss Haifa to be here on stage. And guys, please prepare for the question and answer later on. So for those who are sitting on the premier seats, you can go down here so you have the chance to answer the question.
Premier seats talaga.
Yes, premiers and deluxe, di ba, bongga? So there, go.
I would just like to read the citation. DevCon Summit 2013 Mobile Dev and Beyond awards this certificate or plaque of appreciation to Mr. Howard D. Go in gratitude and appreciation of his generous contribution as a speaker for DevCon Summit 2013 on the topic Opportunities on Mobile Development in the Philippines, given the 30th day of November 2013 at Cinema 4 SM Mega Mall, Mandaluyong City, Philippines. Signed, Mr. Jerry Reps, President, Developers Connect, Philippines.
Meet me up on the VIP floor. DJ speed it up, play it loud. We're gonna turn this club around.
Thank you sir. By
Thank
the
you,
way,
sir.
if you have questions, we have a few minutes. Anyone who has a question, we have microphones there.
So anyone? Okay, so there's one that I'll go
Right.
down. Okay,
Sir,
so
can
wait.
you-
By the way, there's a microphone. I couldn't see the microphone. So here, go. So what's your name, sir?
James Chua from Pixel Kit Inc. Howard, very good talk. I just want to ask a question. Why aren't businesses or companies using games for rewarding players for real world rewards like coupons or free items? Is it easy exploitable or the concept is not too open for companies right now?
I would say the companies still don't quite understand how to do it. From the friends that I still have in the corporate world, I understand that internet marketing is one of the ones that they don't quite understand yet up to now. They're like, put money Facebook, put money there, put money there. And they're not so sure what's working, what's not. So if you ask them, why not try a mobile device, a lot of them would hesitate because if they don't understand the internet, which has been around for a lot longer, or even the social networking sites, okay, why would they invest in a mobile app when they're not so sure quite how it works? But that's not to say that no one has done that. I think SM, for example, did it with an app, that Butterfly app. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't think it was quite successful because a lot of people didn't download the app. Because in the Philippines, you wait for Wi-Fi zones to do that, and there's not enough free zones. But a lot of people, I know some people who see that move by SM as a productive step forward. But I don't think it was that successful, so no one really copied it.
Is that just for the Philippines? I mean, in the US, is that trend starting right now?
In the US, it's not yet quite working. I know there are a few apps that are trying to do that. Usually they're enterprise apps, but most of them are not that successful. I think in the Philippines, what we have is stuff like Perks Club and stuff like that, which are more familiar because it's like having a membership card, a discount card. And there are some people doing that. But within a game, people don't quite understand at what point the mechanics will work. In fact, even up to now, the advertising in games and how you could make more money by letting people watch a video to get in-app purchases, those things are things that many game developers themselves have not fully grasped and analyzed. So I would say that the big companies who would be the ones to take such a plunge are not yet ready to do it because the analytics are not yet out.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So with that, you can receive a T-shirt prize. So you can claim it there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, sir.
any other question, guys?
Oh,
Okay.
we still have one here.
Okay, so we still.
Let's invite again, sir.
Okay, so we have one here, Dan. So here, what's your name, sir?
Nitesh Personi. My question is, in terms of constant revenue, do you think apps or games are better? Because in the charts, you could see like it's really volatile in games.
Right. Apps or games? I would say games for one simple reason. A study before was made, and you can do it yourselves now. Check the top 5 of any category, and then check the top 1,000. The top 5 of any category will often not be in the top 1,000 unless it's a game. Okay, so you could have top 5, let's say, educational app or fashion app. Chances are it will not be in the top 1,000 overall because it will be populated by the number 500th game. Okay. Games make more money, have better long tail. A utility app might succeed for about a month, but usually it doesn't have great long tail. Only a few have succeeded. I would say that would be Camera Plus, WhatsApp, maybe Ventic, but no, Ventic was actually just 2 months, 3 months maybe. The average app doesn't quite have great long tail because its ability to go social, its ability to spawn a viral behavior is smaller, not as powerful. Okay, so a utility app could do well for a short term. Okay, but long-term success, long tail, would normally be games. But I'd like to qualify that a little bit also. In terms of apps that have failed the most, games would also be there. Okay? Games have a better chance of success, but you could also release a game that would make nothing. As in, no one would download it, no one would even look at it twice. Because there are so many bad games out there. You've probably seen it, you know, when you Google something or check out the App Store and you search, and you see an icon and a title that just looks so bad, and you're wondering, who would waste time to develop this? Okay. But some people did, and there are a lot of games out there because people just wanted to release something just for the heck of it, thinking they'd make money. And that's why there are so many zombie apps. Okay, so games on average will make more because that's what people usually end up doing in their mobile devices. Okay, you would play maybe 4 different versions of Candy Crush. Okay, when I say different versions, I would include Pet Rescue Saga, Jelly, Splash, and anything else that has that same look and feel. But you would not have 5 different versions of Camera Plus. Okay, once you download that, you're done. So that would be one big reason why apps would never, in the long tail, beat a game. I hope that answers your question.
All right. So, okay, thank you so much, sir. And with that, you will receive a T-shirt. So you just claim the T-shirt there, sir. Thank you so much. So there. Okay. So, do we have time? Wait. I'll ask first. Okay, Dan. Do we?
I think we can only
entertain?
accommodate 2, but please do
2.
approach Mr. Howard
All
during the
right.
lunch
So
period.
maybe
Thank you
later
very much,
on.
sir.
Thank you so much, guys. So let's proceed with our next speaker. Dan, what do we? Or let's read first their tweets.
Yep, I will just like to read some tweets. And the reason why I took a photo of Mr. Howard, because today we will also be awarding the photo or the selfie of the day. So take a photo of yourselves right now.
Take selfie
and
photos
post
now.
Post them on Twitter or Instagram.